Aries. Welcome back to Starspoken Oracle. This is episode 9 of your weekly reading, and today we are reading for Aries, for the week of July 1st through July 7th, 2026. You are about to feel the itch to say the thing you have been holding back, and this week the universe hands you the sword to do it. Every week I shuffle the deck for all 12 signs and let the cards fall where they need to, but this week Sky is doing more of the talking than usual. Two fast-moving planets are about to shake things loose right in the middle of a slower, more introspective retrograde season, and that tension between speed and patience shows up in your card whether you notice it right away or not. Before we get to your card, let's talk about what the sky is actually doing this week, because it touches every single sign, and it shapes exactly how your card wants to be read. The cosmic weather. This week's sky is anything but quiet. Mercury is retrograde in Cancer, a shift that began June 29th and holds through July 23rd, which means communication, travel, and old business all move a little slower, a little more prone to mix-ups, and a lot more likely to circle back to unfinished conversations from the past. Do not panic about the delays. Retrograde season is not punishment, it is a review period, and if you use it that way instead of fighting it, this can be one of the more productive stretches of your year. Then, on July 4th, two things happen within hours of each other. Mars forms an exact, volatile conjunction with Uranus at 3 degrees of Gemini, a combustible pairing of raw drive and sudden disruption that has been building since late June and finally snaps into focus. Expect the unexpected this week, sudden changes of plan, flashes of insight, or a jolt of energy that moves faster than your ability to plan for it. On the same day, Venus glides into confident, warm-hearted Leo, softening the sharper edges of the week with a dose of romance, creativity, and self-assurance. So the week has two moods running at once, Mercury retrograde asking you to slow down, review, and finish what you started, while Mars-Uranus and Venus in Leo push you towards sudden action and bold self-expression. The trick is not choosing one over the other, it is knowing which parts of your life need the pause, and which parts need the leap. Every reading this week, for every sign, is really a variation on that same question: where in your life is patience the answer, and where is boldness overdue? This is episode 9 of Starspoken Oracle, which means we are now solidly past the midpoint of the year and sliding into the back half of summer, a natural point for stock-taking even without a retrograde underlining it. Whatever you started back in January has had 6 months to prove itself. This week's mixed signals of pause and leap are, in a sense, the sky asking you to check in on exactly that. For you, Aries, the Mars-Uranus jolt lights a fire under your own ruling planet. Just make sure Mercury's caution slows your hand for one extra beat before you act on it. Your card. Now, Aries, let's turn the card. I shuffled the deck thinking about your week, about the energy the stars are handing you, and about what you need to hear rather than what might be comfortable to hear. The card that came up for you this week is Knight of Swords. Take a breath with that one, Aries. Let's talk about what it actually means for you right now, and why the timing of this particular card, in this particular week, is not a coincidence. What it means. The Knight of Swords rides fast and speaks faster. He is the card of decisive words, of cutting straight to the point without waiting for permission. He does not linger in doubt, he sees the opening and he takes it, sword raised, mind made up before the dust even settles. For Aries, this card is almost a mirror. It rewards courage and speed. It also warns against recklessness, saying the sharp thing before thinking about who catches the blade. There is also a version of this card that leans too far into aggression, words used as weapons rather than tools. Watch for that shadow side, especially midweek, when the Mars-Uranus energy peaks on July 4th and the temptation to win rather than communicate will be strongest. The Knight's greatest strength and greatest weakness are the same trait, he does not slow down. This week, you get to choose which one shows up. Here's something worth watching for as the week unfolds, Aries. You might notice this most clearly in a text thread that has gone quiet for too long, or a meeting where everyone is being politely vague about something that needs a direct answer. That is your cue. The Knight rarely shows up for the comfortable conversations, he shows up for the ones that have been avoided. The areas of your life. Let's walk through where this lands, Aries. In love and relationships. In love, the Knight of Swords wants you to say the true thing out loud instead of circling it. If you have been sitting on a feeling, attraction, frustration, a boundary you have been too polite to name, this is the week the words finally leave your mouth. Single Aries may find themselves unusually direct with someone new, and it lands better than you expect. Bold honesty reads as confidence right now, not aggression. Partnered Aries, the temptation is to win the argument instead of understanding it. Say what you mean, but leave room for your partner's sword too. Around the July 4th peak, expect a conversation that has been building for weeks to finally surface, possibly triggered by someone else, possibly by your own restlessness. Let it happen. Delaying it further only adds pressure to something that will feel lighter once it is finally said out loud. In work and career. At work, this is a week built for the fast, bold move, the email you send before you overthink it, the idea you pitch in the meeting instead of saving it for later, the negotiation where you name your number first. Mercury is retrograde, though, so speed without a second read is dangerous. Send the brave message. Just proofread it once before you do. If you are waiting on a response, a signature, or a green light, expect delay or miscommunication mid-retrograde. It is not personal, it is simply the season. Follow up in writing so there is a clear record of what was actually said and agreed. In money and resources. Financially, the Knight of Swords energy shows up as a fast decision, a purchase, an investment, a quick opportunity that will not wait. The instinct is good. The execution needs one extra check. Read the fine print twice this week before you sign anything, because retrograde season hides details in plain sight. This is also a good week to revisit an old financial commitment you have been ignoring, a subscription, a forgotten fee, an outdated plan. Mercury retrograde has a way of surfacing exactly these kinds of loose ends so you can finally close them. And in health and energy. Your body is buzzing with restless, mental energy this week, the kind that makes you want to move, argue, or run rather than sit still. Channel it through your body, not through other people. A hard workout, a fast walk, anything that burns off the edge before it turns into snapping at someone you love. Try scheduling your hardest workout or most demanding task for earlier in the week, before the Mars-Uranus peak on July 4th adds extra volatility to your already fast pace. And one more area worth naming this week: your own growth. The growth edge for you this week is learning that not every impulse needs immediate action. Some of your best ideas this week will actually improve with 12 hours of sitting before you act on them. Practice the pause even once, and notice it does not cost you the win you were chasing. Your guidance for the week. Before the practical advice, a word on timing, Aries, because this week's sky moves in a specific shape. Early in the week, before July 4th, is your best window for sending the message or making the fast decision. The days leading up to the Mars-Uranus peak have the clearest energy for bold action. By the weekend of July 4th and 5th, expect things to move even faster than planned. Stay flexible rather than locked into a rigid schedule. The back half of the week, heading into July 7th, favors follow through over new starts. Finish what you started on Monday rather than launching something else. So what do you actually do with all of this? Send the message. Make the call. Say the true thing you have been rehearsing. But before you do, take one breath and ask, am I being brave, or am I just being fast? Aries, this week rewards the difference. And if you find yourself in an argument you did not choose, remember, the knight does not need to win every duel he is offered. Some are worth riding straight past, undefeated and unbothered. If you take one thing from this reading into your week, Aries, let it be that. Not as a rule to follow perfectly, but as a direction to lean toward when you are not sure which way to turn. Come back to your card if the week gets confusing. Knight of Swords is simpler advice than it looks at first glance. Closing. Before you go, Aries, here is a one-line journal prompt to sit with this week if you want to take this reading further than just listening. Where this week am I being asked to slow down, and where am I being asked to leap? Write down the first honest answer that comes to mind, not the answer that sounds best, just the one that is true. Aries, here is your affirmation for the week of July 1st to 7th. Say it with me, once, like you mean it. I speak the truth with courage, and I choose my battles wisely. Carry that with you as you move through this week's Knight of Swords. That is your reading for this week. If this landed for you, subscribe so you do not miss episode 10. It drops next Wednesday, with a brand new card for every sign. And if this week's reading was helpful, share it with the Aries in your life who needs to hear it too. The stars have spoken, Aries. Until next week.